The biggest mistake I made in my business was not hiring a professional to help me with my money. Not just my taxes, but the actual plan I had for my business. I was completely lost on how to handle taxes, what to do with profit, and how to maintain my income. I had to find a better way. That's when I found Core Financial. Core Financial is a team of tax professionals that actually care about building real relationships with their clients. They run my books, keep me up to date with my finances, and make sure I'm taking full advantage of all of my tax benefits. Are you struggling with your finances? Look no further. Core Financial is a brand that is nationwide that can help you with your business. Both Nick and I are huge fans of Core, and they can help you too. Check out howtofilmweddings.com/core to schedule a consultation today. Core Financial, real relationships, no surprises.
It seems like there are new cameras and equipment coming out all of the time. It gets increasingly confusing and the FOMO is real. John and I have been preaching for years that the best way to try out new gear is to rent before you buy. There is only one place that we recommend when it comes to renting, and that is our friends over at Lens Rentals. Lens Rentals is the premier source for renting not only camera equipment, but lenses, drones, projectors, and more. Do you have a big project coming up and you really need to wow your couple? Wanting to test out the newest camera before you drop thousands on it? You need Lens Rentals. My favorite thing is that if I love something I rent, I can keep it. They apply a portion of the rental fee to the purchase price, and within a few simple clicks, the gear is mine. So head over to howtofilmweddings.com/lensrentals and use promo code HTFW15 at checkout for 15% off of your order. Lens Rentals, the only place we recommend renting.
Hello and welcome to the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is John Bunn, and I am so excited to be joined today by my bestest, goodest buddy, Nicholas Miller. Nick, how in the world are you today, my friend?
I'm doing well. I am doing well. As of recording this week is birthday week for me. So it's a big birthday for me. I turn 40 years old. And anyway, so on Sunday, as we drop this, it's my birthday. My wife's throwing me a party. It'll be fun. People are coming over. I don't know.
It is a big birthday week for you. You are turning 40. I don't know if it's a bigger week for me. I don't want to upstage you, but this is the first podcast recording that I'm doing via my brand new MacBook Pro 16-inch maxed out 64 gigs of RAM beast of a machine. And so instead of looking this way, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm actually looking this way now because, Nick, you're right here, just right under my camera. My chiropractor is going to be happy because every time he's like, man, the left side of your neck is so tight because I do this all day long. So anyway, it's a big week for me too.
That is a big week for you. That's a big thing. That's way more important than my than me.
40th birthday, schmortieth birthday. I have a new MacBook Pro.
There you go.
Just kidding. Happy birthday. I'm excited for you to turn 40, and happy Thanksgiving to all of my American friends. That's this week as well. But you did mention today, if you're watching this today as the podcast drops Monday, you are on the last day of the complete wedding videography course being open for enrollment. If you haven't seen it or heard about it, we'll talk about it in today's episode some. But today's episode's kind of special, Nick.
Yes,
because
it is.
As we sit here right now, there are 10, 12 people watching us live on Zoom, kind of behind the scenes. We posted in our Facebook group and on Instagram that we'd just record live on Zoom. We do it via Zoom anyway, and it was like, might as well have some people, and they're going to ask some questions. It's going to be a lot of fun. We already have a few questions, but if you hear us talking to people or if you hear other voices, that is people watching live on the Zoom. So if this is something you think is cool, just for us to do this every now and then, I don't know, I'm not even against every now and then just letting people, as we're recording, they can get to the podcast episode first. I don't know. So something we're trying out.
Yeah. It was a really fun idea that John had, and we know that a few weeks ago we did a wedding day hack, and we just let people share kind of their responses of things. That was very, very well received. So we thought, hey, let's do something kind of in the same vein, but maybe a little different. So this is a behind the scenes recording. It's kind of we wanted to ask us anything, fireside chat kind of feel with it. So you guys that are here joining us live, if you have questions, go ahead and drop them in there. Or, when we get to it, you can raise your hand and in the Zoom window and we will call on you, maybe even bring you on screen. So that's what we are going to do right now. So John, as we have been, talking about this, the Complete Wedding Video Course, as the day that this episode drops, closes cart at midnight tonight Pacific. And so it has been hundreds of people have purchased it. It has changed their businesses, that has helped them, make more money and shoot better and edit better and all sorts of things. John, what do you have to say as we are wrapping up cart for the Complete Wedding Video Course today?
I could go. How long do we have? Is the question. No. Nick and I set a goal for how many people we felt like would be a big win to have them join the course. And then we set a goal for what it would be to have a grand slam, knocked it out of the park. That many new people have joined. And we're already past that number. And as we record, it's Friday. So we still have 4 days to go. And we're already, more people have joined than we expected for the entire week. And so it's really cool to see that. So I think I just have this heart of gratitude, oh my goodness, this is working. People care about what we have to say. And it's a good enough investment where all these people have come out of the woodwork saying, this was really worth it to me. This was I asked, anybody have a testimonial? And all kinds of people started pouring in. It's everything that we've done to have successful 6-figure wedding businesses, wedding video businesses, all of our templates, all of our pricing guides. People have said the biggest thing that they've enjoyed is just the Zoom recordings, which is pretty great.
Those are really cool. Cool.
Real live meetings with me and couples or Nick and couples, and watching us do the actual job instead of just talking about it, the practical application. So if you're on the fence about it, the course you can start for $147, and it gives you full access. There's a 21-day money-back guarantee. We've just made it pretty easy, and I'm not sure if it's still available, but the first 50 to join are entered to win something big. So head on over to CompleteWeddingVideography.com. If you haven't already, if you have questions, we're going to be available all day today for that. So, Nick.
Yes.
We are live. We are answering questions.
We are answering questions. I'm just going to repeat you.
Yeah, I'm just going to repeat you. If you're in the live Zoom and you have a question, now's the time to drop it. I know Lydia Stemke, who was part of a live I did the other day, asked a great question about team building. If you want to reword that, I would love to answer it because I tried to catch you on DMs yesterday. If you have that question, I forgot what it was, but I remember that I wanted to answer it. So if you're listening, Lydia, there and want to drop that question, please do. Nick, there was a couple of questions inside the group. Is Facebook still not working?
I don't know. I think the question was, live. This is live entertainment, guys.
Oh, there's Lydia's question. But yeah, Facebook 5 minutes before we went live kind of crapped out.
Yeah.
And so we were we didn't write down these questions.
Yeah. Well, Abigail Anderson in our Facebook group asked the question, and we'll get this one started, and then I see some other ones popping in. What's something you learned in 2021?
That's a great question. I think it's a great question for all of us to think about. I think where I got to for real is setting real boundaries and saying no to things that didn't add value to my life. With my, it's right at a year and a couple of months now since my dad has passed away. And that obviously changed me a little bit, just seeing how short life is and remembering when my dad was my age and now he's gone. And it just kind of changed my perspective. I just don't do things that are a waste of time anymore. I don't know, if someone invites me to go to lunch and I'm just not interested in going to lunch with them, I say, no, I'm not available right now. Or if I get contacted about a wedding that I know is not a right fit, I just say no. So I think I learned how to say no better. What about you, Nick?
That's really good. One thing that has come up a lot lately in my life is people not communicating as well as they maybe should communicate with each other, and just the power of being open and honest with the people in your life has been something that I'm really taking to heart. I'm seeing it in other people that I know, their lives, like, family members or friends or stuff, they're not talking and there's just this animosity and there's this frustration between people. And so that's one thing is I've gone through this year that I want to be, open and honest. And, when my wife does something that, it bothers me, I want to tell her that rather than bottle up. Or whenever John does something that bothers me, I want to tell him. So no, it never happens. But, tell him so that it doesn't bottle up, just building, that stuff. So totally not a video business related, but that's something that's been on my
that's huge.
Heart. Yeah.
That's good. I love it. Lydia asked the question in the comments that I remember. So you had answered the first part of it, but the question is basically like, how do you say no to clients who are happy to pay but aren't really your ideal client? I don't travel much because it doesn't work well in this stage of life, so I can't blame travel schedule. I get very worried that I'm going to make them feel bad, like I'm above working with them, and I would never want to send them that message. Jay Worsley had a really good answer to this question at Venture Workshop a few years ago. I don't remember exactly what he said, but the sentiment of it, I know what he was saying. I don't have it word for word memorized.
Right. Okay.
Is like a lot of people will say like, oh, I'm busy, or like make up an excuse, which if that's what you want to do, that to me feels a little shady. But if you feel okay about that, that's fine. I'm not available. To me, I would be available for another couple on that day, and I would just hate for someone to be like connected to that person and get married on the same day. And it was like, I don't know, like I just don't want that to come back and bite me. So what I've done before, one instance that really stuck out to me was I met a bride and she was awesome and they were ready to book, but mom showed up to the meeting like 30 minutes after I had already told the bride I was available and all this stuff. And mom came in and was just not a nice person. She was treating the bride like crap. She was like, I'm going to make the decisions about the video. Because I'm paying for it. This is, you're not paying for this. So you don't, and I want this and I want that. And, like in the meeting, I didn't feel comfortable saying, I'm not comfortable doing your wedding. I processed it. And then the next day I sent a message to the bride basically saying like, after the meeting, I really just didn't have the greatest feeling. I felt like, I didn't say you and your mom need to work things out, but I basically just said, after realizing what both you and your mom were wanting and what I offer, I don't know if I'm the actual best fit for that style, what you guys are looking for. And I don't want to take that away from you because you get one chance to do your wedding video. And I don't want somebody there that feels like they're not able to perform the task correctly. So I would recommend reaching out to these people. And I gave them a couple of names of people that I thought, like, I'm not trying to just like push a bad couple off onto, but I let them know, like, I don't think I can serve you as well because this doesn't fit, like something isn't feeling right to me regarding all of this. I just don't feel like I could, like, if you're honest but not mean, I think that I would rather take the chance of somebody being offended or upset than just saying yes, especially whenever 2 weeks later somebody contacts you for that same date that is just like the most ideal couple ever. So the sentiment basically is letting them know that you don't want to take something from them by not feeling like you're the best fit, offering them some type of replacement or some options, but not pinning it straight on like, I don't think you're a good person, I don't think whatever, but it's like after I really processed our meeting and was thinking about it, I'm only taking, X amount of weddings this year. And I honestly just felt like it was like, I've done this long enough to know, like, I just had a gut feeling that I don't think I'm the right fit for it. And I hope you're not offended by that. And I'm not trying to be offensive. I just try to be very aware because I've said yes to certain weddings before where the couple was really nice and I just felt like I should say yes. And then I felt like they didn't enjoy working with me so right now I'm going to politely decline and I would love to give you some options of people. That's kind of the vibe. So I know that's a pretty long-winded answer. Anything
Yeah.
you want to add to that, Nick?
No, that's really, really good. And putting it on you rather than on them. I really like that advice. Instead of saying your mother-in-law is crazy, so I can't do this. Like that's not going to go over very well. But by you just saying, not a good fit. One thing for us that we've started doing is now that we are, one wedding away from our like, hey, we're good, we don't need any more. We get a lot of destination inquiries, and if it's not someplace, if we are available, but it's not someplace that we necessarily want to go, and because we are so booked up with travel, I just say that our travel schedule, like before I even talk to them, I just say our travel schedule will not allow us to film your wedding, which is kind of a way out, but it's also it is true, because if we are going to travel for a wedding, we are only going to do it, to a certain place. So it's a nice way of saying, no thanks. But also, we're at a price point where a lot of people tell us no thanks. So
Yeah, I think that like even Lydia said, it's like, I love that it makes it sound like a benefit to them instead of
Yes.
to me.
That's
the thing is just like, I have had, and what I did with that couple where the bride had the mom, like I just basically said, I messaged back and like helped them find somebody else. I've had many couples where I just knew that our values didn't line up correctly. Like they were like, all we want to do is get wasted and party, and that's fine. It's just not the kind of wedding that I want to be at. Like I don't ever get wasted and party. I don't like, there's so many wedding filmmakers that want to go do that. And so it was just, and I toiled over it and was worried about it. And I sent them that message like, you know what, there's so many other filmmakers that I feel like I'm stealing a wedding from somebody that would fit with you even better. I loved talking to you, but the more I thought about it, here's what I think. And they were like, oh, that makes total sense. And they were so thankful. They were like, thank you for not just taking our money. And that's the kind of like, I want to make the decision based on not just the money. So,
yeah. And, being nice and tactful, but being honest goes such a long way, if you just tell the truth and that sort of stuff. So great question. Good question there, Lydia. B. Greer said, what's the one thing that took the longest to learn that made life easier? One thing that took me forever to learn and figure out that made my life easier were hotkeys while editing. I was probably doing this for like 6 years before I really started looking into hotkeys and figuring out, oh, this will make editing a lot smoother because now I can push one button rather than click my mouse 3 or 4 times. And, it saves, seconds while we're doing it. But whenever you add that up over a whole edit or, a month of edits or whatever, it ended up saving me lots and lots of times. So that's one thing that I thought of.
That is neat. I thought of two things. So I don't know if this is against the rules because he asked for one thing, but learning to let go of things. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Learning to let go of things and outsource things that I hate doing or felt like nobody else could do as good as me. That saved me a ton of time. Like outsourcing some of my edits and things like that, or outsourcing my taxes or took me way too long to learn that it's okay to do that. I'm trying to think of the other one that I was thinking of, but I'm talking, so I can't think. I'll come back to it. The other thing, I don't know. That was my one thing.
Outsourcing
was one thing I learned to do. Just like outsourcing anything that takes time that I hate doing. Like I enjoy taking my leaf blower and blowing the leaves off of my driveway and doing some basic yard work, but I don't want to mow the entire thing. It's like 3 acres. And so I hired somebody to do that. So I don't spend 3 hours a week doing something I don't love. Oh, I remember the other thing. This one was more important.
Good.
One thing I learned to do as a creative entrepreneur was to get a planner or something to put my schedule on. And in the mornings, write out the tasks that are very important and organize them in priority, and then schedule them within the calendar of the day and check them off. And that was one thing that I would just show up to my desk and be like, what am I going to do today? And by having that organization and something to look at the next morning from yesterday's notes and move to the next day and whatever, that has saved me a ton of time and made me way more productive. Good question.
I really like that one. That's a good one. Do we want to do another? We have to go to break and go.
Let's do one more question.
Let's do one more question. Okay.
Go to break.
Brian asked this question. What are some great ways to thank a wedding planner that has placed me on their preferred vendor list besides small video clips from the wedding day that I make for them? Just little gifts, go a long way. It doesn't have to be something, huge. But I don't know if it's, I know a lot of people like to do like champagne or wine or something like that, just a bottle of that, a gift card to a restaurant that you really like, or find out, who they're from someone, what their restaurant is. It doesn't have to be like a $500 thing or, something massive, but, just a $25 gift card or a $50 gift card to something like that. Just a small thing, and just say, hey, I just want to say thanks, thanks to you. That's the direction that I would go. John, what?
Yeah, especially in the early days of you're just getting going. Like, wedding planners refer me things now, and I refer things to them, and we don't get each other gifts every time or anything like that. It's just pretty standard. It's like, oh, this wedding planner refers me lots of weddings. And the first thing I would say that you can do to thank them is do a really good job and represent them well. Like, make them proud of the way that you've presented yourself at weddings and don't embarrass them.
That's good.
Just do a really good job, take really good care, go above and beyond on like over communicating to the couples and carbon copying the planner and keeping people in the loop, have an opinion, like being part of that team and taking opportunities in front of the couple to tell the couple they did a good thing by hiring that planner. I will do a lot of times, I will throw something extra in for a couple just because they're an Aaron Brown Events bride, or they're, something like that where, oh, I'm going to throw in an extra hour of time because Aaron just makes my job so much easier, or I'm going to give you this extra edit because I know that my job's going to be way easier on the day, and something like that is really big. And then the other thing that came to mind is just a personal handwritten note on your own custom stationery. It just goes a long way. Maybe I'm an old dude, but like having a cardstock that says John Bunn Films on it and writing a note after a booking and just handwriting it, mailing it to the planner and thanking them. Maybe you put a $10 Starbucks card in it or something, or not, but just like a thank you. It was great to work with you. It was great. Those are the kinds of things that just are like, oh, that was really nice. That was nice. They didn't have to do that.
Another thing that I would do if you haven't is write a very heartfelt, meaningful Google or Facebook review. A recent study that I picked up on is that the number one recommendation thing is going to be like in-person, face-to-face referral, like that kind of thing. But written reviews of things are as 80% as effective as a in-person, hey, I know you referral. Okay. And so if you especially spin it in the way of, hey, I have worked with this planner. They are amazing. As a wedding vendor, I've seen a bunch of stuff, hire them, something that's just very, more than the best in town, like that kind of stuff, will be very, very helpful and will go a long way, and they will appreciate that, because not only are you supporting her business, but now you're also, publicly saying, hey, this planner is great. You should hire them. And so now they might get more business because of that thing that you wrote to them.
That's very neat. This is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it a ton. That rhymed. Mm-hmm. I'm John Bunn. Oh, no. I got to stop this. We're going to head to break, but after this, we are going to answer more of your questions right here on the podcast.
Hi, it's Michael from Wedditor. We want to thank everyone for the incredible support we've received since sponsoring How to Film Weddings. Yes, we've had some growing pains, but we've had far more wins. And we're doing something that's never been done. We're a remote team of over 50 editors in 10 countries. I often joke that we're as much a logistics company as we are a creative company. Right now, demand is off the charts. And we don't just say yes to everyone and scramble to figure it out. That's why we're asking you to help us help more of you. In short, we're looking for more talented wed editors. Part-time or full-time, work from where you want, when you want, as long as you hit deadlines and deliver quality. It's a chance to get paid while growing as an editor. Our project managers work with you, explaining why something feels right or doesn't, because there's always a reason. If you're interested, we'd love to hear from you. Go to wededitor.com/editor and fill out our form.
Finding the perfect song for your wedding film can be so frustrating. We spend countless hours searching for the perfect song. When it comes to licensing music, Nick and I both love MusicBed. Not only do they have the best music, but their website makes it so easy to find the perfect song and to find it fast. We have both been using the MusicBed's wedding subscription for years and cannot recommend it enough. Not only are they adding new music from incredible musicians like Chapters, The Light, The Heat, and Tony Anderson all the time, they've made it incredibly easy to search their library for mood, genre, instrumentation, and even key. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed and use promo code HTFW for a free month of a MusicBed wedding subscription. howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed.
All right, we are back from break, and we are going to start this segment with the Wedditor question of the day. Nick is yawning, but Wedditor is more than freelance, more than outsourcing. Our question of the day comes live in this Zoom chat from Matt Davis. He says, what's a good way to get your name out there on social media if you haven't had a wedding recently? Nick, what you got?
Yeah. So the recommendation that I would have is go back into your archives and start posting stuff. Little 3 to 5 minute clips, make reels, make stories or whatever, tagging all of those vendors. Yes.
Did you say 3 to 5 minute clips, or did you mean 3 to 5 second clips?
Yes, I meant second. I did not.
Okay, sorry. I didn't want you to tell people to take 3 to 5 minute videos. Continue. Yes. Act like I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm just over here.
Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah. One thing I remember thinking this when I got started, especially with Instagram, I was like, man, photographers can post literally hundreds of images from a single wedding if they wanted to, where I can only show, a little video clip of, like a recap of the day. And this was back when Instagram only allowed 15-second video, right? I was so frustrated about that. But then I realized, no, we can do more than that. You can post, one little clip of the bride getting a dress and then talk about something. And you also don't even necessarily have to talk about whatever is going on in the clip. You can ask them some other question like, who loves pizza? Like, who doesn't love pizza? And just to get some engagement or that stuff. But another great thing about doing stuff like that, and then you're tagging, bride, groom, other vendors, that kind of stuff, putting it on your stories, and then, hopefully they will share it. You're tagging all of them. So, it all works together. But I would, you could think of probably 10 or 15 different like little clips that you could show from one wedding. And, if you're posting, if you have 15, then that's every other day, that's a month worth of content, and you're continuing to show up in front of people. John, what do you have to add?
I have thoughts. Yes, to what you said. I agree. Mm-hmm. I will take that a different direction. The best way I think to show up and get engagement on social media is just to be there and be consistent. Like more so than the great content. I was talking with a friend yesterday who's starting some social media content, and they're more of a perfectionist. And they want like the one video to go live that's like going to go viral. And I kind of likened it to going to the gym. It's like you can go once and get like the most killer workout ever, but that is not going to get you in shape. What's going to get you in shape is a good to great workout consistently over time. And so if you set yourself up an actual attainable goal, say I'm going to post twice a week, 3 times a week, 10 times a week. I don't care what the number is. But something that that you can consistently hit. If you're starting working out and you're saying, I'm going to go to the gym twice a day, every day for 30 days straight, that's not realistic. But if you say, I'm going to go 3 times a week for 4 weeks, okay, now we're talking. Now this seems like something that's a realistic, tangible goal. And so write that down, get yourself some accountability with either a business partner, a spouse, a buddy, an acquaintance that it is in the same kind of space. But I would say something like, I'm going to post 3 times a week for 12 weeks straight, and put that deadline on yourself. I'm going to post these days. And then, like I was talking about earlier with scheduling your time, you need to set aside probably 4 hours a week, 2 hours a week, depending on how many, to say on Mondays or on Tuesday mornings from 8 to noon, that's my social media content morning. I'm just going to focus in on that and get that stuff batch edited and recorded and ready to go. Because what happens is a lot of times, I've seen it so many times on the internet where someone's like, day 1 at the gym, I'm going to get fit. And then they're like, day 2, and it's like day 10. And then you never really hear from them again because they kind of like just fade off because they didn't have a goal out in front of them. They didn't have a plan in place. So more so than the kind of content that you're putting out, which is very important, but the consistently tagging people, consistently tagging vendors, creating all like doing something on social media every day, not necessarily a post, but with stories on Instagram, or like, there's just so many ways to stay in front of people. Do a little poll, like Nick was saying. Like, there's a million ways to go about it, but most people, there's so many things they can do. They don't do anything. They go take a nap. It's like, I have so much work to do. I'm gonna go take a nap. And so, set yourself up something consistent. Get you something where you can be accountable, and then stick to that schedule. If you mess up a little bit, just get back on the train and keep going.
Yeah, good answer. Devin asked this question: how do you balance having a backlog while still trying to have some work-life separation?
I can answer this.
Okay.
Do you want to answer this?
I
don't know. You asked the question, so I just answered the question. Why don't you answer to start with?
Okay. So the thing that I continually think about, and I think about the times, when I was so backlogged and I had, 15 edits that I needed to do, and, I was just continually adding to it, and it felt like I didn't get anything done because I had another job and that, that sort of stuff. So the best thing that you can do, and if all you want to do is get out of backlog, is like maybe say to yourself and know, I am going through a rough season where I am going to be spending long hours, lots of time to try and just get caught up and try and get done. That's a part of business sometimes, but know that, okay, for the next 2 months, I'm going to have this crazy schedule and I'm going to work a lot to try and get caught up. But then after that, things are going to be better and things are going to be different. We can put up with a really crappy schedule, especially if we know that there's an end to it. So that's one thing, is maybe it's worth it just to power through and try to get it, done, if it's for a time. The other thing that I would recommend is I know I fell into the trap. John, did you ever fall into this trap where I felt that people were judging me or micromanaging me, or if I'm out with my family doing something and I'm not working on their video, then they're going to think, oh, why aren't you working on my video, or that kind of stuff. I don't have those thoughts anymore, but I used to. Did you ever feel that way? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think as small business owners, we have that. That is something that I would suggest to you to try and get over, because you're running a business and you need to set boundaries some way or another. So, with work-life separation, work-life balance, like, it's okay to take a day off. It's okay to say at 5 p.m. I am done for the day. It's okay to say, well, I have my full-time job from 9 to 5, and then so I'm going to work after I eat from 6 to 10, but at 10 o'clock I am done. Like, it's okay to make those things. And I think that a lot of people really struggle sometimes is because they don't set hard rules, kind of like John was saying, about posting on social media. They don't set hard rules for themselves. Those are things that I would say. John, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, always. I like how you ask, like, do you have any? Sometimes I don't, but yeah, I think it comes back to a realistic self-awareness of like how long it takes for you to do projects, being able to schedule time for those. And then even like when I, at one point in life, was 21 weddings behind, I knew that I knew that I had to work 12 to 14 hour days, but I still always took off on Sunday. And I knew that was a day that I was always going to take off to go to church, to be with my family, to relax. And then I did a really good job, I think so, of like scheduling out. I have this much time to complete this project plus 3 days buffer. And then I would schedule the next one and I could lay them all out. And I knew in a week I can knock out a wedding. Like I can do a wedding in a week. And what happened was I got on this consistent schedule where I was able to edit 1.5 weddings per week. I was spending very focused time, do not disturb on my computer. And I would get done by 6 or so at night instead of 8 o'clock at night. And I would drive home and be done. And so like setting up a realistic schedule, putting your edits out on your calendar and giving yourself a day or two buffer. But I think a lot of perfectionist people spend an extra 2 or 3 or 4 days on a film once it's done enough and it's great and it's awesome on stuff that the law of diminishing returns is just not worth doing. If you're in a backlog situation, you don't have the ability to spend a month on a film. Like you just, unless you want to be high stress. And then the last piece of advice would be just overly communicating to your couples before they communicate to you will alleviate a lot of your anxiety and stress. Just saying, hey, this is where I'm at. I've got 4 weddings ahead of yours. I have you on the schedule for 6 weeks from now. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hit that mark. I never rush myself when being creative, but I'll update you. Like just having that written out instead of it just all in the back of your mind. That's where, it gets the most anxiety ridden for me. So yeah, just having those things written out. Nick, I have a question.
Yes.
This is from Peter Dudka. He is one of the members of our community text app.
Okay.
If you don't know, you can send us a text message to 918-300-4617. If you're in the United States, I think it's only in the US. You might check. But 1-918-300-4617. And I sent a message before. I don't know. I don't like reading phone numbers off, but here I am. He said, I love your live streams. Here's my question. What platform do you guys use for sending mass text messages to this to your subscribers? And I thought that was a fun question because I think this is something that you could do is build, like a lot of people are not building a text message list, or an email list, which you should be doing. I think so with both, with your wedding video business, but we use an app called Community and it's $99 a month for 1,000 names. And I think they have plans that are cheaper, but they're a text messaging platform where you can type a word in. It's really easy. It's really intuitive. But if you had a list of all your previous couples, all of your vendor friends or whatever, when a new film comes out, you could say, happy wedding day, wedding film Wednesday, whatever. Got a new film out. Click here to watch. And you can like get more people. Or if you could do a wedding tip or a wedding tip, everything's a Wednesday, but wedding tip Wednesday, where you just text your, list of your brides and grooms and, certain things or photos or like, so text messaging, I feel like is a very undervalued thing in our industry. And people read text messages. You're not going to leave a text message unread. You might, but not like you will an email.
Yeah.
That's the question I had.
That's good. That's a good one. What was the question? Alex's iPhone 2 says this.
Hi, Alex.
Best ways to stay focused while editing and complete projects as soon as possible.
You have a good answer for this one. Yeah.
The best thing that you can do is turn off your Wi-Fi and put your phone or computer on Do Not Disturb. That's the best thing that you can do to stay focused, because I don't know about you guys, but I got in this terrible habit while editing whenever I would add warp stabilizer to anything while it was stabilizing and it only took like 10 seconds to stabilize. I would just jump on over to Facebook and just like, look, what's going on in the chat? So what's going on over here? I'd get out my phone and get Instagram or whatever. And then I'd look up 5 minutes later and, I missed that. So put your phone on Do Not Disturb, or like your phone, leave it in the other room. So you actually have to turn Wi-Fi off, edit for a little while, and then, just completely. I get in the bad habit of, I'm not feeling it, so I just don't think I'm gonna edit right now, or today or something like that. Sometimes you just need to say, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I'm just gonna sit down and edit, and then we will see. So those are a couple of things, but the focus thing: turn off Wi-Fi and turn on do not disturb.
A lot of times whenever I would start an edit, even though I wasn't feeling it, about 15 minutes into just making myself do it, I would start to feel it. And if I was in a position where it's like, I am not feeling creative, I would then move to my next film and just do the thing that's not creative, that is just work. It's like, I'm going to go ahead and get this next project imported and let the peak files generate, that kind of stuff, and get things organized and, set things in timelines or whatever, start culling or whatever, just to get that motion going. A lot of times I don't feel like reading a book in the morning, but if I get in there and read a page or two, I'm like, oh, I'm going to read a book every day. Or I don't feel like getting on my treadmill, but 2 minutes in, I'm like, I'm going to work out every day. We are we are animals that are creatures of habits. And Nick is just taking a phone call or something.
I had an alarm set for 11:45 for some reason.
Oh, good. It's 11:45. Everybody that's watching. Yeah. But on the heels of what Nick is saying about turning Wi-Fi off, let your spouse, business partner, whomever might be needing you. It's hey, for 2 hours, I'm going to be working on this. I'll check my phone afterwards if you need me. I think we feel like we have to be connected right now. If somebody texts me and I don't respond really fast, if a bride reaches out or a groom reaches out and I'm not, if you take just an hour or two block at a time, and then if you are making an editing schedule or a schedule for your day and your priorities, you have that Wi-Fi off and you're from 10 to 12 is when I have to edit social media stuff. It makes it different. It makes you stay more on track. And I think for real, we waste so much time. It's disgusting how much time is wasted. And the people that I see being the most successful are the ones that are planning out their days, not sucked into their phone all day long or to the internet. They get their stuff done. And then when they need an actual break, a 10 or 15 minute break, they go outside. They can look at their phone then. They can whatever. So
I think a recent study said on an 8-hour workday, most people only actually work for about 2 hours.
Yeah, I would see that.
Okay. So we've been going here for, 35 minutes or so. So we have a few other questions. We're going to try to make them maybe a little more rapid fire so we can get to them. John, do you? Pew, 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 pew.
Someone make that a GIF. Whoever made the GIF last week of me going.
Yeah. Okay. So our friend Taylor asked this question: investing in your business, gear versus education. In your opinion, what makes the biggest difference? Pretty sure I know the answer, but what did you notice in your biz once you invested in each?
I'll go fast.
Okay, go fast.
Baseline level of gear. You have to have gear. You can't have crap, but education is a much better investment long term. It goes up in value, your education, and gear goes down in value. Boom.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. Baseline gear, invest in yourself whenever you get better, and your work will drastically improve with that camera that does look better than it might be, then it's worth it. But yes, I agree with John. So good answers there. Brian asked this question: something I always worry about in my business is the final cut. What if a client keeps insisting them get final say on music, tracks, or what clips go into the final cut or whatever? This is one thing that kind of takes time to learn, but you need to just be upfront with how you are. I let my couples know, because this question, the music question gets asked a lot. And I say, hey, we have final say. in the music selection, and the answers are, kind of threefold. Number one, we license all our music. We don't want to get sued. Two, you might love, folky type music, but you're having a very upscale wedding. So those two things probably don't go together as we're crafting this edit, that sort of thing. And then number three, I don't want you, this isn't a stress that you need to have or something like that. So talk to them about it. And I say, but we do take into account our questionnaire that we send out. One of the questions we've recently added is, what types of music do you guys currently listen to that you really like? And on the flip side, what is stuff that you really don't like? So and we're just using that as a gauge, not as I am going to pick this artist because you like them, but so that we know while we're looking for music. Yes,
You
Joe.
also mentioned what clips go, and I will talk on that side of things.
Yes.
Like what clips go into the film. I used to be such a people pleaser that like, if someone said, can I pick the music? I'm just, sure, yeah. I just don't want you to say no to me. I want you to like me. I want you to book me, like whatever it would take. And then I would just have a crap of a time, like just dealing with them. You can present it in such a way where you give them how it works with you before you book. If they ask that question, it needs to be in your contract how it works. So if it's not in your contract, my contract states that they can get one basic round of visual changes as long as it doesn't affect the overall edit at the editor's discretion. No audio changes without a fee that will be determined at the time of the changes. I don't go through that with them in the booking process, but it's part of their contract. And if they ask me about it, I tell them that that's what's in the contract. And then I also, if they're like, can we pick the music? I say, typically that does not work out as well because I see the footage and I want you to be able to just enjoy the art that I create. I know you, I'm going to learn what you like, what you don't like. And if you give me one song, my edit is completely crafted around that audio. So it makes me be in a creative box, which is very difficult. And then I say, I've done this with my couples for 10 years and I've never had a couple, or I've only had one couple or two couples want their song to be different, or give them like feedback of, like third party credibility of other people. This is how this works. And I never have this issue. So if you would allow me, I would rather you tell me the kinds of things you like. And from there, I will make something that I will blow you away. So that's the answer that I give to that question.
Yeah, that's really good. Couple more. Brittany asked this question. Trying to get better at posting on social media, especially Instagram. Do you post pics of your personal life, not necessarily your kids, or BTS stuff on your stories just to give your audience a look inside your life and be more personal? To a degree, yes. You should have your face. You should have yourself represented in your Instagram feed and in your stories and that kind of stuff. People don't want to. John, are you awake over there?
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking and listening. Mm-hmm.
I'm
playing with some toys on my desk.
My soothing voice was putting you to sleep. People want to work with people, and they want to work with people with real lives. They don't want to work with faceless businesses or anything like that. So yes, and you're the only one that can make that decision of where that line is of if I'm going to post my kids, if I'm not going to post my kids. There's some people that are very, pretty much my whole life on my business page is open because the types of clients I want to work with, they're going to be attracted to that. And then there are other people that are very, nope, I'm going to keep this very, very professional and very, business world savvy, and I'm going to very curate everything that I post. So that's a total personal thing that you're going to have to answer yourself. But yes, infuse yourself and your personality into your social media.
I agree. I think it's much easier to want to book somebody that you feel like before you reach out. Mm-hmm. And the more I've started to really show myself at weddings and being in front of the camera on the day, showing behind the scenes, showing me dancing, me doing the more that I show that, the more I attract people that are attracted to me, which is a weird thing to say, but they're attracted to and you repel people that don't want to be, it's okay if not everybody likes you. So don't be afraid to show you because you're afraid that you're dorky or something. That's very appealing to the ideal buyer. So be you, but yeah, like I don't show my kids a ton at all on my social media outside of like a private Instagram account that I have. Just because my wife and I have decided we don't like with what Nick and I do and the followers from all around the world, it's a little different. Just like, I'm going to keep there's pictures of my kids on the internet. It's not like I'm afraid to have that, but I don't just like parade them in front of my camera for any reason. So got to do what fits for you. Did I make you go to sleep, Nick? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
you did. No, that was really good. Really, really good answers.
What did I say, Nick?
I don't remember. I was asleep.
Let's take one more. Yeah, we can take one more question, and then before we take that, just as a quick reminder, this episode's almost over, and so is the enrollment for the Complete Wedding Videography course. You can start for $147. It's a $14.97 for the course, or $19.97 for the course, plus a mentor session and some extra goodies. Midnight tonight Pacific, I guess 11:59 Pacific. I don't know, but is whenever you can't get in anymore. You can't message us and say, please let me in. It's not going to happen. We only open the doors twice a year. The next time will be in the spring. You need to invest in you. We've got a 21-day guarantee, all the goodies, everything in there. We've said it a billion times. Don't wait. Okay, so last question, Nick, I see from Alex's iPhone (2) on Zoom here. Other question, who do you recommend for website and branding, in need of both, or like what to look for when it comes to that, Nick, maybe in need of both, especially with engagement season coming and, of course, 2022 mayhem. So maybe who do we recommend, but mainly, Nick, I think what to look for in somebody, because website and branding people can only take so many.
Right. I will be frank and honest with you that you are probably too late for getting, and if you're hiring it out, you're probably too late to do that, to get that up, for engagement season, because that's literally starting in 2 weeks. And I know that when I went through my website, rebrand and all that sort of stuff, it took 7 months. So
lucky.
Yeah. So
I'm on month number 13.
So just keeping that in mind. The thing that I would really recommend, if you're especially wanting a rebrand and a design update, is going to look at, if you find a designer you like, ask for other, client referrals or, client stuff. One of the things that we say all the time, or advice that we give for people looking for wedding videographers, is say, hey, ask for a full gallery, like their full deliverables, so that you can see everything. Because, when you post the highlight, that's the best of the best. So, reach out to other people and say, hey, what was your experience like working with them? Maybe they do really, really great work, but they're just slow. And, and you just need to know that, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't know that ahead of time, you might have made a different decision. Okay. So, reach out to them. We have started using Showit, which is a WordPress plugin, and it's amazing. I love how it looks and how it works, and on my site, just how everything with it. So that's who I would. Someone that can do something with Showit is the direction that I would go. So, John, you have anything to add?
On the whole rebrand side of things, I know that's a very popular thing we've talked about this year, because both of us are going through or have had a rebrand. I think you really if you're just starting, being aware of when it's time for a rebrand is important. Mm-hmm. But the more that you know about you and not who you want to be, I think a lot of people see, Bottle Brush Films comes to mind. Their branding is ridiculously good for them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it would not make any sense if I made a website that looks like their website for me.
Right.
It doesn't fit. It's too, it's not my client. And so like we talked about in the free workshop last week, like really identifying the avatar of your ideal couples. There could be 2 or 3 different kinds of couples that you work with, but your favorite weddings, what are they? Where were they? What did they feel like? And like really pulling from that and then making a list of all that kind of stuff and giving that to your planner or your designer will go a long way. Instead of being like, I just need a new cool website. I want it to look like Wild Oak Films because it's, they're cool and like that'll get me bookings. Like the more you can lean into what makes you different, stealing that from Eric Floberg, the more that you can lean into like literally why you're doing what you're doing, the better result you're going to get. And I waited way too long. Like I was always like, well, I'm booked, so I don't need a new website. I don't need a new logo. But there's a level of wedding that I know I'm not booking, which most people would be very happy with the numbers that I'm getting for bookings. I'm not saying that you can't get great bookings without great branding, but Nick would have a wedding. It's like, hey, I have a Italy couple that is doing a destination in Italy. Are you available? And I'm like, yes, but please don't send them to my website. And so it's like there's this confidence side of things to not having the website that you really feel like expresses you. So there's a balance there. But like what Nick said, good luck on getting that in the next couple of weeks if you're trying to get it. A lot of people are trying to rebrand. We both used 315 Designs is their name. Her name, Raven Static is her name. And I think it's spelled out 315 Design or designs.com. I can't remember. Yeah. She's great, was great to work with. She built both of our sites on Show It. And that's who we recommend. And if she's not available, I'm sure she has people. But
yes,
yeah, just asking around to people like other wedding filmmakers that you like their site. Who did that? How'd they do it? Did you enjoy working with them? Like that's the kind of advice I would give for that. Nick, I've talked a lot more than you. As always. So I'm going to let you talk, and I'm not going to say any more words. Thanks, everybody, though, that listened to my voice.
Yes. So, guys, thank you so much for hopping on and being a part of this today. It was an experimental thing, and I don't know. I think it went really well, so maybe we will do this again in the future. Maybe. I don't know. Again, as John said, our complete wedding video course is wrapping up. We are closing enrollment tonight at midnight Pacific. So head over to completeweddingvideography.com if you would like more information about that and potentially pick that up. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. And until next time, we will see ya.
See ya.
Are you looking for a better way to deliver your wedding films to your couples? Look no further. Our friends over at WedFlow provide the most flexible video delivery solution on the market. WedFlow is pay per project with no large upfront cost or commitment, and you can cancel anytime. Not only that, WedFlow offers a premium viewing experience for your couples, accessible on mobile, tablet, desktop, as well as their very own suite of TV apps. Each project comes with 10 years hosting and an experience for your clients that will blow them away. Stop delivering your films the old-fashioned way and give your couples something to rave about. Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/WedFlow to check out WedFlow today.